Listen, I don't put my trust into many people, especially not Thai drama's director, but I trust this man with my life. Sawadee Ratukon, je m'appelle Axel and I'm a French woman living in Bangkok, Thailand. Today I want to talk to you about my favorite Thai director, and frankly the only Thai director I truly love, Jojo Tichakorn. And no, he's not only my fave because he commented on my Tree Will Be Free video 2 years ago. No, I will never let that go. This is my biggest achievement in life. Anyways, there is a reason why Jojo Tichakorn is my favorite Thai director, and it's mostly because he has the best and the most diverse queer representation of any director in Thailand. But not just that, his representation transcends sexuality and gender. And today that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna analyze these characters and the message they carry. But first we have to answer a simple question. Who is Jojo? So Jojo Tichakorn Phukhaotong was born on December 26, 1984 and started directing in his 2016 debut series Gay Bangkok. He immediately gathered attention with that because it was the first Thai drama to have all gay characters, but also it was a series that catered to gay men instead of straight women like other BL series did at the time. This show also made ways for featuring a cast of also imperfect, kind of messy queer characters, which has become Jojo's trademark over the years. He produced the second season of Gay Bangkok in 2017. And I think it's also important to note that P.O.F., another incredibly beloved director, was the screenwriter for Gay Bangkok. And most importantly, that the entire series was produced by Trasher Bangkok, which has always had ties to gmmtv and Jenny Panan at the time, which then ended up with Jojo working at gmmtv from then on. And it starts in 2018 with a banger, Friendzone, which was incredibly popular in Thailand and even got a sequel. But in my opinion, it's Jojo's release of 2019's Tree Will Be Free that changed everything, since it was his dream project for years and also cemented him as an amazing Thai director that people love so much. Since then, he's directed a minimum of 1 series a year for gmmtv, and he's also let go of his director and screenwriter title for a series like Never Let Me Go in 2022. It seems to me now that he plays a central place at the company, and he's trusted to give life to kind of any of his projects, which is really nice. For this video, I will only focus on the shows that Jojo has both directed and written, as I really want to focus on his penchant for groundbreaking characters and his writing skills for these videos. The only shows I won't be able to analyze are Gay Bangkok 1 and 2, simply because I dropped this series years ago and I barely remember anything of it, so I will only analyze Jojo's shows at gmmtv. Also, spoilers for all of the series discussed today. Let's go. So I will regroup both seasons of Friendzone for ease, as both seasons follow essentially the same characters, and I'm gonna analyze some of my favorite ones. So Friendzone mostly follows Boyo, who on the surface might not be the most interesting character, but actually sets up a pattern for Jojo's female characters. They are strong, but not only in a girl boss way. Boyo is a girl who sleeps around but isn't slut-shamed, and when she is, it's by the villain characters. She puts her career before love, and has generally a lot of important feminist statements during the show. While she's not Jojo's most important character, I think she really sets the tone for how he treats his character. Like real, modern, and flawed people. Not like the Madonna horror archetypes that most Thai dramas use. Boom is a very interesting character because most of her storylines revolved around relationship dramas with toxic men. She's the more naive version of Boyo and states many times her desire to be a stay-at-home wife. Moreover, Boom offers a great commentary on the over-sexualization of women, as she's a presenter who often gets sexually harassed. Even though she's not a really super feminist character, I feel like she's incredibly realistic to the situations of many women and is seen with compassion rather than judgment, which I appreciated. I did hate that she ended up with her fucking toxic boyfriend though. I'm Sam is a character who is embroiled in a super boring, straight relationship in season 1, but gains all of her interest as a character in season 2. Not only has she suffered a miscarriage, but she finds herself realizing that she lacks another woman, Chris. This made Chris and Am the first women-loving women main characters in a GMMTV show, and the importance of their representation is priceless. Moreover, and even more rare than that, Am gets to say that she doesn't like having sex, clearly expressing that she's asexual, which had never been seen before in a Thai drama. Speaking of Chris, she is also the first character I've ever seen in a Thai drama declare proudly that she's a lesbian, which is so important. Chris also openly struggles with bipolar disorder when mental health is rarely ever discussed in Thai series. Now we get to everyone's favorite gays, and we first have Earth. Earth is introduced as an overall good but kind of boring guy in season 1. He has a good stable job, is a loyal friend, and has been with his boyfriend Sam for years, which I won't talk about because Sam is fucking boring. That gets shaken when Stud, who's coming up in a minute, his best friend, gets Sam to cheat on Earth with him. And this is where season 2 comes to the rescue and shows that it's truly the superior season of the two because it develops its character way more. And in season 2 we get to see Earth's journey with his sexuality, being closeted, then outed, then getting together with his first boyfriend ever, Sam, who is still his only one until season 2. We get to understand Earth a lot more, who becomes a little bit bitter for staying with Sam after the cheating and offers to open up the relationship, and overall feels way more real when he isn't as polished as in season 1. That leads us to Stud, who appears like the cliche of the promiscuous, messy gay guy who betrays his best friend in season 1, but who already shows signs of redemption near the end. In season 2, we can see that Stud has actually loved Earth all along, and that they had a brief fling during university, which is revived once Earth opens up his relationship with Sam. Stud also gets a backstory with his mom, whom he loses at the end of the season, and we can see him working hard on bettering himself. To this day, I believe Stud to be one of Jojo's best characters, simply because he feels so real even when he is a bit over the top. Stud gets to be messy, cruel, laugh, cry, and get a redemption because he's deep and complex like real people, and I really appreciate that. Before we move on, I want to talk about some of the side characters from season 2, starting with Beau. Beau is built up as the villain for the season, yet not only gets a redemption, but also the fact that she's a plus-size character who gets constantly overlooked for her appearance is explored, which I found very refreshing. The last character from Friendzone I want to talk about is Music, and yes, as you noticed, I didn't talk about any of the straight male characters, they were a bit boring, let's be honest. The girls and the gays carried this show. So Music is being strung along by one guy and ends up finding refuge in another, with whom she has a one-night stand. But what I appreciated is that they developed her friendship with Lee's character and also did not shame her for being used sexually by men, and in fact empowered her to seek better for herself. It's one of Kapuk's only interesting characters too, because my girl deserves way better than being pushed in dumb villain roles all the time. Now we have, in my opinion, the most iconic, memorable, groundbreaking Jojo show of all time. We have Three Will Be Free. And that's also one with some of my favorite characters ever, and especially the main female character, Mew. There is so much to say about Mew, so I'll try to stay brief. Here we have a sex worker who is not shamed for her sexuality even once, an SA survivor who is shown respectfully and given a chance to heal, and in general, a sexual, polyamorous, strong, sassy woman who is very flawed. There were a couple of episodes when I hated Mew for her treatment of Shin in the show, but in taking the show as a whole, she's really the most interesting character of the whole show and also feels the most realistic. Once again, we have Jojo completely taking the expectation of a virginal, innocent, shy, naive, and perfect female lead and throwing it out the window to serve as a more than memorable character who, completed by Madla Pasalan's always perfect performance, is truly an icon in her own rights. Shin is a very interesting character because he's shy, struggles with his sexuality and love life, and is also the son of the villain of the show. But throughout the show, Shin works to become more and more himself, and by the end of the show, he's a responsible, assertive, openly queer, and polyamorous man. I also definitely have to put an accent on the fact that Shin is the first openly gay character at gmmtv to use the word gay to describe himself, and no Singto's character in New Prince who says he's gay before attempting to essay a woman does not count. Now, Neo might be the most bland character of the three, bless his heart, but him being a bisexual polyamorous king does definitely compensate. Neo is like this tall-ass himbo who flirts with everyone, and it might be a bisexual cliche, but I am here for it. Moreover, while he doesn't get to say the word bisexual, Neo's rebuttal to Mew asking him if he likes girls or guys with
ไม่รู้ว่ะทำไมกูต้องเลือกด้วยวะ
is beyond iconic, because it's almost like he doesn't understand how someone could even ask this question. And honestly, same Neo, same. The scene where he explicitly proclaims his love for both Mew and Shin is also extremely important because not only does it make the polyamory in the show irrefutable, but also because it's a first of its kind. So Mei is a complicated character to discuss because there are two parts to her story. In the first part, we have to acknowledge the fact that Mei is the first trans character played by a trans woman in a Thai drama to get a love story with not even just one man but another one once he dies. To see a trans character who's also a commentary on poverty and social inequality, as Mei is shown as being poor and exploited by her employer, actually being showed as being loved and desired was extremely important, and Mei will forever be an iconic character because of that. But then, sadly, the second part of her story comes to dampen the mood a little bit, which is that both of Mei's love interests die. And in fact, her second one, Ter, dies mostly so she can be filled with murderous rage and eventually save our main polyamorous trio. Her pain and suffering are used as a plot device in the end, and it was honestly a bit disappointing. But I still think that in general, Mei was a super important character still, especially considering that it was the first actually serious role Jenny Panan ever had, where she wasn't the butt of the joke because she's trans. For info, since then she's only had one similar kind of serious role, which was in the comments, where her character ends up committing suicide because of her fans' bullying because of her transness. So I am 100% a Ter apologist and cried literally for an hour when he died. And even though he's not really confirmed as queer and his death was shit in my opinion, I think giving such an unredeemable character such great character development was really important, and Ter was again a great social commentary on the exploitation of the poor. The guy was forced to become a hitman due to his social status, and it ended up eventually causing his death, even though he had become so much better. Also, seeing a character give love to a trans woman was again so fucking important. Now, I'm gonna be honest, the player has the least characters I'm gonna be talking about today because it's in my opinion the weakest Jojo show. Especially in terms of female characters who are usually so fucking interesting, but this time were a bit boring. Except for Giwi and Mimi, who are both insane in the best ways, but anyways. I already have a full video on Peach and his bisexuality, so I'll do a summary here. Peach as a character is far from the most interesting, but he's used as a vessel for many good topics surrounding bisexuality. Peach is a bisexual man who's closeted to everyone but his ex-boyfriend Matt, whom he starts seeing again once he comes back to Thailand. And he deals with biphobia from him, who says multiple times that he's gay and not bi. His coming out to his girlfriend Eve doesn't go that well, and the pressure from his shitty parents keeps him feeling more and more suffocated. A lot of good themes are explored through this otherwise quite unremarkable character, and I especially appreciated Jojo as a gay man holding the gay community accountable for their biphobia through the character of Matt. Also discussed in my video on bi erasure, we have the counterexample of Eve's dad, who's considered as gay by everyone once he started dating a man after his wife's death, but actually admits to his daughter that he identifies more as bisexual since he truly loved her mother. They also shut down the stereotype that bi people cheat more easily, and in general it was super nice to have a discussion around sexuality from a parent to their child for once instead of the opposite. Matt is a piece of shit. He's like Stud from Friendzone but without the reformation, which makes it funnier to me that Meg Jirakit, who plays him, recently said that he was his favorite role to play. And honestly, I don't blame him because Matt is messy and manipulative, so that must be fun to play. He reminds me of this character in Golden who does everything to get his closeted man, and like, if you're going to do all of this shit for a man, you know, maybe you deserve him, bestie. Like, we'll give him to you. But anyways, the reason I'm including Matt is that I don't mind having gay characters who are villains, especially not in shows directed by P. Jojo, because there are enough queer characters to compensate and show that your sexuality doesn't have any correlation on whether or not you're a piece of shit. Normalize being an asshole and yes, gay. But yeah, I still don't like Matt. Tim shouldn't be here because he's low-key kinda boring and his alcoholism should have been addressed, but I'm a Tim and Matt shipper and I have to say that these two have without a doubt hot sex. That is my truth. Thank you. Then we have Pete Jojo's one and only straight show, but with still great characters in my opinion, and especially its main character, Annie. I'm not kidding, Annie was literally in my top 10 favorite characters from 2022. She's once again a strong female character like Mew or Boyo or even Jin, whom we're gonna talk about soon. But even though most of P. Jojo's female characters have a lot in common, they're still quite different and shine on their own. In the case of Annie, we have once again a flawed character who has ruined her career and friendships by being an asshole and is now dealing with the consequences of that. Through trying to save her own ass once again, Annie encounters the Mama Gogo boys, which makes her put others before herself for the first time in her life. And not only is Annie incredible, fun, assertive, and sassy, but she's pretty sexual. She wears quite revealing outfit for Thailand, but is not made to feel ashamed by that. And when characters comment on it to mock her, they're shown as being the assholes. Here we have a character who was a teenage mom, sexual and messy, but so incredibly lovable. And I just don't think almost any other Thai dramas could have given me such a good main female lead. By Annie's side, there's Sean, of course, who's kind of really different from other male leads because he's just a loser. We have this supposedly big scary loan shark who's actually a virgin and not good at anything, and especially with girls, and this aspect of masculinity being used to first, yes, make fun of him, but later show Sean's humanity was so well done, especially when it leads to this supposed loser treating Annie like the goddamn queen she is. I'm not gonna talk about every character in Mama Gogo because there's way too many and I don't have much to say about them, but I thought I'd mention that Hugh as a character being a single dad doing everything for his daughter and also ending up with an older lady was really refreshing and nice to see, even though his smile when he's working out is low-key pretty terrifying. Here we have another straight show on our hands, even though seeing Pon Narawit flirt with Nanon Korapat was simultaneously the most cringe I've felt in years and also so fucking iconic. Like, Pon did slay in that role. And while Dirty Laundry is a mini-series, so it doesn't have much time to develop its characters and stays kind of surface level, with the characters being archetypes and being kind of over the top and unrealistic, I still feel like they have that P. Jojo's touch though. I will start with the most surprising example, Neon, which yes is my theory that she's Neo's cousin from Thrill Be Free. The names are too similar, listen. We have seen until now and will continue to see with the Warp Effect that P. Jojo has a thing for strong female leads, and while Neon is certainly one of them, her main character trait is to be unbelievably naive. She's a hopeless romantic and not the brightest, which reminds me of Boom from Friendzone, but I really appreciated that departure from other P. Jojo's female characters, especially since in the end, her unwavering optimism really does help Night win. For Knight is very much the straight male character who's uncomfortable with all things feminine or gay, such as when he dresses up as a woman or judo hits on him, but he does exemplify two classic P-JoJo tropes. Firstly, he criticized social inequality in a way that feels reminiscent of Midnight Motel and Moonlight Chicken, which finally made me see what linked these three seemingly quite different series under the Midnight series umbrella. But secondly, his character is part of a role reversal of sorts, which P-JoJo loves. By being Mama-san's boy toy. Usually we rarely see men using their sexuality to their advantage in Thai dramas, while female sexualization is way more acknowledged. And I enjoyed this change quite a lot, which reminded me of Giwi and Dan in The Player who had a similar dynamic. Of course, I have to comment on the trans representation in P-JoJo's shows, which is way more advanced than any other Thai dramas. Where usual comedies would derive their humor from the character's transness, Smile's humor is about her boyfriend being an incredible loser who treats her like shit. Yes, we're not down with the smartest humor ever presented, but it's miles ahead from other Thai dramas, especially since a trans woman is also represented as having a love story, which, as I've said before, is incredibly rare. As for Shampoo, she does rely more on P-Goji's brand of comedy, which has always been hitting on people, but even then there's no comment made about her being trans except to describe her, and she's honestly the saving grace of Night and Neon as she exposes Mama-san to reporters. It's my headcanon that she finds love after the end of the show and lives happily ever after. The Warp Effect is probably the most important show P-JoJo has written since Three Will Be Free, and might even be more important than Three Will Be Free in terms of diversity of representation. I was sadly a bit let down by this show since it took the easy road of undoing all of Alex's wrongdoings in the show, instead of having him grow and learn. I started the show rooting for him and Jin, but by the end of the show I was really disappointed to see them end up together, especially since I thought Jin was way more cuter with Tony. But even through all of that, I adored a lot of the storylines presented here. And the representation and the openness with which sex is represented on the show was extremely important, and it makes the Warp Effect one of the most important Thai dramas ever released. Molly is without a doubt the most diverse character of the show, being a non-binary queer plus-size person. Not only are they the first non-binary character I see in a Thai drama, like ever, but I absolutely love the discussion they had with Alex about being plus-size and non-traditionally feminine in the entertainment industry, and everything they said hit very close to home for me. I absolutely love them, especially considering that they're played by Sylvie, a singer I've been a fan of since her first song, Excel. Jin was definitely my other absolute favorite of the show, being in the same vein of other P-JoJo's strong female characters, but with a lot of nuance. Not only is Jin a confirmed bi queen, but her sexual trauma is explored and given importance in a way I haven't seen before from a Thai drama. I just wish we could have seen her healing from it, instead of having it all undone in the last minutes of the drama. Kim is genuinely a revolutionary Thai drama character because she decides to get an abortion and it actually happens. This is the first time I see it happen in a Thai drama, and of course it would be in a P-JoJo show. She takes her time to think about it, considers her maturity level and financial status, and then is not shamed once for choosing the abortion route. In fact, the message of your body, your choice is passed many times concerning her characters, and I loved it. Instead of demonizing abortion and glamorizing birth, it actually showed us what real life is and helped us show us the way deciding whether or not to have an abortion should always be, especially with the support of the father, Ice. CEO with his puppy mask was definitely used in the marketing to shock its viewers, but his storyline was actually really nice because he's not used as the butt of the joke and his kink is taken somewhat seriously, even being matched by Liu's foot fetish towards the end of the show. I also liked that workplace sexual harassment was explored through Liu's character, even just for a moment. P-JoJo pioneered the idea that trans characters played by actual trans women could get a love story in Three Will Be Free, but Rose takes it to the next level because she actually gets her happy ending. Rose and Jedi are in a committed relationship that lasts over a decade, and while Rose faces some transphobia, most of their story is very positive, with them being such a cheesy couple that they can't hook up with other people even though they open the relationship. This type of normal relationships containing trans characters was very nice to witness. Army and Joe were a really nice addition to the show. Army being the cliché promiscuous gay guy, but Phukhaotong, who played him, is so endearing. He made him look so cute. And him struggling with his sexuality in high school was definitely relatable. As for Joe, he also struggles with coming out because of his work in a very masculine and macho field, and he also doesn't like penetrative sex, which was very interesting to see from a gay character. Nim is iconic because she's a lesbian, and we don't get nearly enough lesbian characters in Thai dramas, or anywhere for that matter. At first I thought Jan was overplaying the masculine voice of Nim a little bit in the mock trailer, but her performance ended up feeling really realistic to being a more masculine, with still quite a feminine presenting sapphic character. Kat was a very interesting character from day one because we have this queen bee type of character who would usually be portrayed wanting to settle down and have this perfect little family life, actually being shown as preferring not to settle down, which is in its own revolutionary, showing that success is not always linked to a relationship. Her relationship with Tony towards the end of the show though seems to contradict that slightly, which again is why the last few episodes of the show kinda disappointed me. To conclude, there is a reason why I loved Jojo Tichakorn more than other directors. While his shows are far from perfect, the representation, nuance, and discourse they offer is literally priceless and never seen before in the Thai entertainment industry, where usually only cis queer men get representation through the lens of exploitation. And I'm very grateful for Jojo. I hope you enjoyed this video, I'll see you next time, and have a great day.